Special Victims Unit. In addition, Jerry was the commander of the Bergen County CART team, which is the Child Abduction Response Team, a federal, county, state, and local task force responsible for locating abducted or missing children. Jerry?
Good evening. As Karen said, my name is Jerry Dargan, and I'm the Director of Community Security for the Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey. I'm very happy to be here tonight to speak to you about how work Federation does for our community regarding security directly relates to you and your ability to feel safer. We live in challenging times where hate, bias, and strife dominates the newsfeed. This can definitely be unsettling, but I'm here to tell you the Federation is looking out for you and the community's interest, and that we are working every day to make the world you live in protected and safer. You should rest assured that we are here for you and that you live in a safer community. Let me first tell you a little bit about my position. It was created March of 2019, a few months after the tragedy at Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Federation's CEO, Jason Shamus, along with Federation's board, created this position to ensure that Jewish communities had a strong, intentional, and organized security initiative that would help all Jewish institutions in Bergen, Hudson, and parts of Passaic County. The specific goals of our initiative are to ensure that our institutions become stronger and more secure, to train staff and congregants in case of an incident such as an active shooter, to be a resource for all matters of Jewish security and safety, and to be the liaison to law enforcement in the broader community. In 2 short years, even though the pandemic has made it feel like 10 years, I believe that we have accomplished many of our goals. My priority is to be a presence in the community. I meet with the community leaders of every agency, synagogue, and day school, and I'm in direct contact with law enforcement of every town. I've spoken with and or visited nearly every synagogue and institution in our catchment area and offered my services as a free security consultant. I'm advising our institutions and congregants on how to properly secure their facilities and how to minimize and perceive risk. This means that I've probably met with your synagogue and your JCC, which should provide some comfort to you. In the security world, we use expressions target hard facilities to describe buildings that have been upgraded for protection. More specifically, it means that a building has been fortified with protection such as alarms, panic buttons, lockdown systems, anti-ramming devices, lighting, blast film. I know some of this sounds unpleasant and harsh, but the world can be scary. All of these important efforts will make the world seem less scary, but more importantly, it will make the community members feel much safer and prepared. You'll feel better when your parking lot of your shul is well lit. You'll feel more comfortable knowing that the windows of your child or your grandchild's preschool is shatterproof. And you'll be able to come to programming and services knowing your building has an alarm system or a panic button that's directly connected to law enforcement. Like everything else, all of these target hardening efforts cost money, money that most institutions don't have. To answer this problem, we work with the agencies and the synagogue leaders to apply for and administer state and federal nonprofit security grants. In my first year here, I was shocked by how many synagogues were either unaware of the availability of grant money or unaware of how to obtain it. As a first step in applying for grants, I arranged for the county prosecutor's office to conduct vulnerability assessments of our Jewish facilities. I advised the facilities regarding what target hardening upgrades they need, The leadership then works with Federation Manager of the Katila Cooperative, Debbie Gottlieb, for assistance on completing the grant applications. Through our efforts, our community schools, synagogues, and agencies have secured millions of dollars in funding for upgrades and for installing security enhancements at little or no cost to themselves. Securing our buildings is a never-ending process. There are constant upgrades and improvements, and Federation and I will be here to assist in that process. Having a close working relationship with local law enforcement is immeasurable and critical. One of the things that I've worked on is educating local and county police on Jewish traditions. That may seem funny coming from someone who isn't Jewish, but when I first started here, I had to learn about the Jewish holidays, traditions, and lingo, and it was incredibly helpful to me. So I created a booklet, The Law Enforcement Guide to Judaism, and I gave it to every local police department and county agency so they have a better understanding of the Jewish community and your needs. The response was overwhelming. Law enforcement wants to be educated regarding the community they protect. The police need to know how to effectively protect a synagogue during the high holidays, Shabbat, or special programming. Sharing cultural nuances is very important to maximize collaboration and understanding. It's important that they know that people wearing costumes in the springtime is not a problem because they're celebrating Purim, not disturbing the peace. We also educate the community on police practice and the best way to build a strong relationship with the local police department. Federation has also continued to foster meaningful partnership with the County Prosecutor's Office in Bergen, Hudson, and Passaic counties. I'm particularly proud of our relationship with law enforcement. When it came to the high holidays, Federation worked with county and local law enforcement to provide updated patrols around our community synagogues, including patrols by the SWAT team and the Rapid Deployment Task Force. Teams that are highly equipped, highly trained, and highly weaponized were able to be a force multiplier for the smaller towns to help to protect our synagogues. This was never done before, and now we have a commitment from the county that they're out there, and I'm sure many of you have seen them, and that should make you feel safe. Not many other counties are able to do this. Hudson and Passaic don't have teams such as this. They're getting up to speed, but they've had many synagogue checks, and they've enhanced patrols at our request. Whenever there's an anti-Semitic incident or a suspected bomb threat, or even something as horrendous as the shooting in Jersey City, it's our cooperation with law enforcement that impacts response time and the appropriate reaction. When an incident affects the Jewish community, law enforcement knows to call me. I receive daily updates from the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, the New Jersey State Police, County Prosecutor's Office, and the local police departments. I also have secured clearance from the Federal Department of Homeland Security, allowing me access to intelligence-related terrorism and public safety alerts. When information needs to be disseminated in the community, Federation is able to send it out to the rabbis, synagogue security committees, and executive directors and administrators on an urgent contact list. This is very helpful. Training. Training is one of my top priorities, and training is all about individuals being informed and knowledgeable in the event of an emergency. Coming from a law enforcement background, I know how important training is. It's because all cops do is train. Statistics show that everyday people do extraordinary things when they are taught or shown what to do. We offered many training opportunities to our community, including active shooter training, run, hide, fight, stop the bleed, and shelter in place training. Some of these trainings are site specific and usually are given at specific institutions. I'm proud to say that the majority of our institutions have received active shooter training. COVID did slow us down, but it did not stop us. A prepared community is a safe community. Here's a story that highlights the importance of training. I had the opportunity to meet with, listen to, and speak with Mr. Stephen Weiss, a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania public school teacher, a survivor of Tree of Life synagogue attack. Mr. Weiss described the circumstances leading up to the shooting. He shared that upon hearing the shots and realizing a gunman had entered the shul, he initially took cover and tried to hide near the entrance behind a bench. That's where he would have stayed if not for the fact that Tree of Life synagogue had received active shooter training just weeks prior. Due to the training, Mr. Weiss fled the sanctuary and proceeded downstairs. If he had stayed in the spot, he would surely have been killed. Not only was he able to warn other members of the synagogue, but he also exited the building and warned first responders for the details of the event and the location of the shooter. The first responding officers engaged the gunman in a firefight and were able to drive the gunman back into the synagogue. Law enforcement credits Mr. Weiss in assisting them in the eventual apprehension of the shooter and possibly stopping the gunman from going to another synagogue. Mr. Weiss reiterated at the end of the session that the only reason he is still alive, and many others are alive, is the fact that his synagogue had received active shooter training. That's why training is so important. To further help our community, Federation has created important resource documents. First off, emergency procedure guide. I worked with colleagues from other federations and created an emergency procedure guide that local agencies, synagogues, and day schools could use in their own crisis management. This was printed and distributed to all the partner agencies and organizations. Second, we created a reentry plan, which is a guide to how we could safely reopen the buildings after being closed for COVID, based on advice from the CDC, OSHA, New Jersey Department of Health, and the Department of Homeland Security. This plan was distributed to all the partner agencies, synagogues, and schools and posted on Federation's website. Lastly, Federation created a series of security documents for synagogues to use. When they were confronted with the daunting task of handling COVID-19 and the heightened security risk of the high holidays. It has been my pleasure to serve the community, making sure it remains safe and secure. As the world begins to return to some type of normalcy, I will continue to create trainings, events, and resources to ensure that all of you feel safe and that our community stays safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. It is great to know that Federation has a director of Jewish community security keeping his eye on what is happening in the community. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Tracy Scheller. Dr. Scheller is medical director of the Graf Center for Integrated Medicine at Englewood Hospital. She is board certified in obstetrics and gynecology and has been an attending physician at Englewood Hospital for close to 2 decades. She received her MD from the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston Medical School, followed by an obstetrics and gynecology residency at Memorial Hermann Texas Medical Center. She is currently pursuing an integrative medicine fellowship at the University of Arizona Center for Integrative Medicine. She is a fellow of the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. She's a busy woman. Dr. Scheller?
Wow, thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me tonight to talk to you today about this great topic of safety. I know this has been a different year for me. I've not been able to shake my patients' hands at their visits. I haven't been able to give hugs. And when I leave patients' rooms, I often hear, stay safe. So tonight, I think this is a really great topic, so I can talk to you a little bit more about how to improve your health physically and mentally, and of course, how to keep your immunity strong. So thanks for the introduction on my journey. I've always wanted to be a doctor since I was little, and so this journey just keeps growing and growing. I never thought I'd in integrative medicine, didn't even really know what it was when I was in medical school or even in residency. And my journey really began in integrative medicine when I was doing obstetrics and gynecology for 13 years at Englewood, and found that by juggling my family, my children, my life, I really wanted something different. So I wanted to stop the obstetrical part of my life. I then worked on this master's in nutrition across the river at Columbia and did that on weekends, sometimes dragging my kids with me for the weekend. And that brought me to the Graf Center and introduced myself to Jen Graf, and was on the advisory board for the Graf Center. And then the position opened for medical director, and I was asked to step in. I didn't think I was going to do any more schooling after I finished that master's in nutrition, but I decided if I was going to be asked to be a medical director for integrative medicine, I should pursue the fellowship. And I did complete that. I actually just finished that in September. It was a 2-year program. And it was a really amazing journey, because I think as an integrative medicine physician, you go along the journey yourself. And that's a better way for you to really grow and learn as a physician, and really talk to people differently. And then also implement all of the things that I've learned in the fellowship to help my patients. So that's my journey. And I often get the question, really, what is integrative medicine? And what it is, it's the combination of the conventional medicine with the natural modalities. So it's not instead of conventional medicine, it's together with. The type of patients that I typically see in my office and for integrative medicine consultations really can be the spectrum. So it can be someone who's quite healthy, who's trying to take their health maybe to another level. It can be someone who's even at the end of their life in hospice. Many medical conditions in between. I see a lot of pain management, migraines, a lot of anxiety. We see stress management, depression issues, of course, with anything gynecologic, and that can run from, teenage girls all the way through and to menopause, and everything in between there. Cancer, of course, we're on the cancer unit on the 5th floor of Englewood Hospital in the Berry building, and so we do get a lot of influx of patients who are referred to us while they're being treated for cancer. And even though a cancer may not be cured, there's always the ability to heal. And that's where we come in with the integrative medicine. So during the consultations for integrative medicine, there is some things that we talk about that are in addition to what you would get in a regular history. So going through someone's story, understanding their medical surgical history, the medications, of course, but we then get into what is your health goal? And a lot of people don't have a health goal, and it is something that we should be thinking about and trying to think of ways to improve our overall health. And then we talk about a daily routine. So what time are you getting up in the morning? What time do you go to bed at night? How is your sleep? Is it a good quality of sleep? Do you have a difficult time falling asleep, staying asleep? Are you getting up frequently in the night? Is it your mind's racing? Sleep plays such a big part of your health. It's when our bodies need to recover. And if we're having a hard time with sleep, then that can actually sort of worsen a lot of medical conditions. So we like to spend a lot of time on sleep, and it is underrated, and we have to really sort of prioritize our sleep. We then get into the most important piece really is nutrition, and walking through someone's day of what they eat first thing in the morning through the time they go to bed, snacks, drinks, what some problem areas are when some people go to food, why do they go to food, and work through that. We also talk about your exercise routine and how exercise really should be an integral part of your daily life. I like to tell people that it should be something that you do every day, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, and make that part of your routine, not something that you have to decide upon, but something that you just always do, and try to do it at the same time every day so that you don't have to make a decision about when am I going to exercise, if I'm going to exercise, but just something every single day. We then get into people's personal lives and their work life. So work plays a really big role. What our commute process is, where we work, the environment, that's really changed this year. People have gotten off schedule so much with not having the separation from home to work. So we're not having maybe those commutes, we're working from home, and it creates a problem because now we're out of routines. We also talk about what the personal life is with their families, relationships, children's, extended family, because relationships create also a major way that we are in our health. So if we have problems with communication, we feel threatened, there something that in our relationships is not working well, that can affect a lot of pieces of our life. One part that we talk about a lot in the integrative consultations is spirituality. And we basically talk about what people find that they connect to. What what brings them peace? We don't talk about specifically organized religion, but really something like a higher power. Do they believe in God? And do you feel comfortable talking about that? And finding that connection, because it's really what the patient connects to, not what I connect to, but what they connect to and what they find important, because tapping into those things that you're already connected to can be very powerful and very healing. We also talk about people's own surroundings, where they live in their home. Do they feel safe? Do they feel like it's cluttered? Do they have a sense of peace in their home? And that can play a big role as well. We also discuss any power of mind, and that's really that mind-body connection that you hear about a lot. We talk about any meditation practices that people may have. Even prayer can be a form of meditation. Anything where we're really trying to exercise the parasympathetic nervous system. So you've probably heard of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic is our fight or flight. It's when we're revved up, we're going, we're on. And then the parasympathetic is our rest and relax. And we really need to exercise that parasympathetic nervous system, because most of our day we're on and we're going and we're doing and we're revved up, and we need to be able to practice how to bring it down. And then the last part, of course, we talk about the importance of staying up to date with regular doctor's visits, because really, again, it's the combination of the conventional medicine with these natural modalities. So I always want to make sure that people are staying up to date and getting these things taken care of. In the next part of the visit, we then introduce the different modalities. And so I'm going to go over some of the things that we offer at the Graf Center and how people can incorporate those things into their lives. First off, again, nutrition, very important. A lot of people did maybe change their habits over COVID, may have gained some weight, or have just been struggling with weight throughout their lives. At the Graf Center, we do have a registered dietitian, and she is in network with most insurance plans, which is really amazing. And we can go over some nutrition things, of course, with myself. I love talking about nutrition, so I do try to help people with that. If it seems like it's going to be something that's more in depth, someone has a gastrointestinal disorder, the irritable bowel, cancer, issues that are resulting in some gastrointestinal issues, then sometimes it might be better to meet with myself and have more frequent visits with a registered dietitian. So we offer her services that you can see her in the Graf Center and also available on Zoom. And what happens is we do check insurance benefits and see what your plan allows. The other main thing that we offer at the center is acupuncture. And we are also accepting in-network insurances for those services. And some plans do have coverage for acupuncture, and we can check that. So some things that acupuncture has been found and scientifically found to be helpful for is definitely pain. So a lot of chronic pain, back pain, even acute back pain can be very helpful. Of course, it needs to have been evaluated probably by an orthopedist or your primary doctor, and given some clearance that yes, they can utilize acupuncture. Other things that it is helpful for: any sports injuries. See a lot of golf. My daughters go for tennis injuries, plantar fasciitis, migraines, menopausal symptoms, anxiety. A lot of things that the acupuncture has been shown to be very helpful with. We also have some videos that explain the benefits of acupuncture on the website, and that's been very helpful. We offer meditation classes. Pre-COVID, we were doing meditations in the center, which was so amazing to have a group of people so you really can feel the energy. Now on Facebook, Marianne Fernandez is hosting the meditation classes. And if you follow us on Facebook, you can see the classes that are free and engage in that at any time. We also, and Jen's going to get into a little bit more in depth on the meditation, but there's so many pieces to the meditation and the mind body that we do get into and can discuss further at the consultations. We also offer yoga. Yoga is an amazing practice that also does connection for mind body, breathing techniques, being focused in the present moment of what you're doing. We're also doing some of those classes in the center pre-COVID, and now Jen does a class on our Facebook page for addiction and recovery. Of course, anyone can do that. Yoga doesn't have to so much only be for addiction and recovery. We also were doing some cancer classes, yoga classes for breast cancer survivors. And so even if you're unable to do yoga like on the floor, I also recommend doing chair yoga. And I do direct people to some sites to help do some chair yoga. We also offer massage and Reiki, so the therapeutic massages. Now, insurance doesn't cover that, but if we're able to give you a prescription for it. So for back pain, anxiety, stress, we can give you a prescription. You can use your health savings account. You can use flexible spending and get reimbursed potentially through that. Some other things that we do with massage, we do manual lymphatic drainage massage, which has been great for breast cancer survivors. We also do massage therapy for TMJ pain, plantar fasciitis as well, has been very beneficial. We also offer essential oils, some essential oils that I often recommend. Lavender is very calming. We also are in the process of doing a study right now, working with breast cancer patients who are undergoing treatment with chemotherapy and looking at ginger and peppermint for nausea, as well as acupuncture prior to them getting to their chemotherapy. We also discuss at the integrative medicine visits different supplements. So people sometimes come in with a bag of supplements and put it all out on my desk, and we go over them, each and every supplement, and really understand what's the right ones to be taking. Because remember, supplements are meant to supplement a good diet, and you can't supplement yourself out of a bad diet. So I like to really focus first on what you're putting into your body, and then talk about what may need to be added through supplements. We also, again, go into the sleep issues, and really like to spend a lot more time on sleep. And then, of course, making sure people are staying up to date and following the conventional medicine practices that are recommended. And of course, these integrative medicine visits with myself are also in network, and we accept most insurance plans, which I think the hospital and the Grafs have really allowed this special type of medicine to be at Englewood Health. And it's a real gift to patients. And I like to see people taking advantage of our services. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scheller. Personally, I find this really interesting, and I'm energized to examine more alternative medicine therapies, as I'm sure everyone that's listening may be as well. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Graf. Jennifer is a licensed clinical social worker, yoga teacher, and Reiki master. Jennifer's private psychotherapy practice focuses on stress reduction and life balance. Certified in imago therapy, Jennifer works with couples on creating safe communication and having needs met within the sacred relationship. Helping to helping to birth the Graf Center for Integrative Medicine at Englewood Health, Jennifer runs workshops on meditation, gentle movement, and mind-body medicine for patients, hospital staff, and the community. Jennifer considers herself blessed to be able to share the work she continually sees transform the lives of her clients physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Now here is Jennifer Graf.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Nice to see all your names and some of your faces. Great to be here. And Dr. Scheller, you did a beautiful job of talking about the center and integrative medicine. Thank you so much for being here. And Jerry, thank you for being here. You know, we're talking about safety. So we have law enforcement, safety, medical care, safety. And what I like to talk about is self-care. And, you know, we've seen so much in the past year from, you know, we've experienced so much from social isolation, and we've seen political strife and this global pandemic, and our jobs have, some of us have had job security issues and school closings. And I work with people who experience stress. And normally I say, you know, what we're experiencing is not that stressful. Well, this year, what we're experiencing is that stressful. And so there's never been a time more than now that I love to share this work of self-care. And so Dr. Scheller talked about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. You've all probably heard of the fight, flight, or freeze response. So that is built in our systems, in our DNA for hundreds, if not thousands of years to protect us from stressors, from predators. What happens is our cortisol levels go up, heart rate goes up, our digestive system goes out of whack, our immune system goes down, inflammation goes up. Inflammation is the root cause to all disease. So the converse to that is the parasympathetic nervous system, which decreases blood pressure, decreases cortisol levels, increases good feeling hormones in the body, has shown to improve our immune system and decrease inflammation. And we have the key to turning that on, and it's through the breath. So that's amazing that we can do that for ourselves. So yes, we use conventional medicine, but we use the power of our own healing systems with the breath. So, you know, when we're fighting or fleeing or freezing, we're usually breathing, chest breathing, rapid chest breathing. When we're relaxed, our belly is soft and we breathe through our belly. So our belly gently rises and falls. And I'm going to take you through a couple of little exercises. So if everyone wants to just put their hand on their belly, when we breathe in, our belly rises. And when we breathe out, our belly falls. And it's just this gentle wave-like rhythm, kind of like if you've ever seen a baby breathe when they're sleeping, their bellies just gently rise and fall. So the belly rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale, rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale. And when we induce this slow belly breathing, we are balancing the nervous system. it triggers something called the vagus nerve, which tells our brain that we're relaxing. And the brain believes us. So all we have to do is induce this soft belly breathing. And you can use 2 words to guide your inhale and your exhale. You can use breathe peace. You can use Baruch Hashem. You could use strong heart or calm mind. Any 2 words that you love to guide your inhale and exhale, and just close your eyes and do some soft belly breathing. And that will help to balance your nervous system right then and there. And the proof is in the pudding, or actually someone told me it's not the proof is in the pudding. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. I was corrected. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So just practice this, as Dr. Scheller says, consistently, right? Daily. Just take 5 minutes out of your day to do that every, at 8 o'clock every day, or choose a time that works for you. What's most important is that it works for you. And see how you feel. You can journal about it and see if it does decrease your sense of stress, your sense of feeling threatened, and just lower your baseline anxiety. And I think that you'll find that there's great benefit to doing that practice. And what we're going to do here tonight is we're just going to do it's what Dr. James Gordon calls safe place guided imagery. I like to call it comfy place guided imagery because comfy sounds better than safe. But it is a safe place guided imagery, and we use this when we feel really, really anxious, when we turn on the news and we just we can't believe it, our jaws drop to the floor and we're really anxious. So guided imagery uses not only the optical cortex, but it takes cues from all of the senses. So when we imagine ourselves in this comfortable place, comfy place, we are using all of our senses. And the brain doesn't know the difference between what we actually see in real life and what we tell it we imagine. So again, blood pressure goes down, heart rate goes down, good feeling endorphins get released. So if you would, just get comfortable in your chair. We'll just take a couple of minutes to practice this guided imagery. So root your sits bones in the seat of the chair so that both sits bones are even. You can place your feet on the floor, feeling all 4 corners of the feet on the floor, or if you'd like to sit cross-legged, whatever's comfortable for you. You don't want to be stiff, but you want to be alert. So we don't do this lying down. So from the tailbone up through the spine, up through the crown of the head, if you can imagine the crown of your head is reaching towards the sky. So your spine elongates and leaves lots of room in the belly for the belly to rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. And you can bring your shoulders up to your ears, back, and just drop them down. Straightening the back of the neck. Again, we don't want to be stiff. We just want to be alert and relaxed. And you can place your palms either face up or face down on your lap, whatever's more comfortable. And allow the eyes to flutter closed, allowing the belly to be soft, so that when you breathe in, the belly rises, and when you breathe out, the belly falls, gently and effortlessly. You can just imagine the belly rising and falling. If it's not actually moving, it doesn't matter. And trust your imagination. So I'd like you to think of a place that makes you feel so comfortable and safe. Could be a place in nature, or it could be a comfortable room in your home, could be a place that you visited on vacation, place of fantasy, or maybe something you've seen in a magazine. And you may bounce around. Just choose one place for now. Again, belly is soft, rising on the inhale, falling on the exhale. So just choosing a comfortable place. And in your mind's eye, just look around this place and take it all in with the mind's eye. Notice shapes and colors, objects near and far that make this place so comfortable for you, so warm and inviting. You feel wonderful in this place. Just taking it all in with the mind's eye. And if there are any sounds of this place that make it even more comfortable, more relaxing, peaceful. Perhaps there are fragrances that make you feel wonderful. You love these fragrances. Anything to the touch that's pleasing. And anything to the taste. If there's a particular food or drink you love in this place. You create this place as you like it. So bring in anything to the senses that's pleasing. Imagine the clothes you're wearing that make you feel so good. And you can be alone or with company. It's all up to you. You get to choose. This is your special, comfortable place. So just taking a few more deep breaths in this place of comfort and safety. And knowing that you can come back whenever you like. Just by closing your eyes and taking it in with all of your senses. But for now, with eyes still closed, begin to sense yourself in the room you're in. Feeling your feet on the floor, seat in the seat of the chair. Feeling the air on your skin, noticing its temperature. You may wiggle your fingers and toes a bit, taking a gentle stretch overhead perhaps. And whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. So I invite you to practice this safe place, guided imagery and breath work using 2 words that you love to guide the inhale and exhale. It was a pleasure to be here with you today. And I'll see you around. I think we're opening for questions.
I feel so much more relaxed after that. That was wonderful, Jennifer. That's also helpful. And we know stress happens to all of us. And in this world where we sometimes feel overwhelmed by physical safety issues, meditating can help us all become less overwhelmed and reduce our stress. I know that I'm ready to sign up for more. Now, Stacey will field a few questions. Stacey?
Yes. first question for Dr. Schiller. Will integrative medicine cure my problem if I don't want to follow conventional medicine?
That's a great question. And no, so in the first part, when I was talking about integrative medicine, we utilize these natural modalities together with the conventional. So if someone's not interested in following their conventional therapies, let's say chemotherapy was recommended for cancer, then no, it's not what I would recommend that you come to speak to me to see if I'm going to give you a different curing agent, something that has not been proven to help. So no, it really needs to be together with the conventional therapies.
Great, thank you. Jen, a question for you. If I'm still not comfortable leaving my home with everything going on with COVID, is it easy to learn how to do meditation directly, over the internet or in my home?
That's a great question. Thank you. Yeah, as Dr. Scheller mentioned, if you go to our website, you can find meditations there. I can send out, how to set up a home practice meditation. I've written something up for this group so that I could send that to you, and you can send it out to everyone who participated. Absolutely, meditation is something that can be done anywhere almost, and especially at home. And so, please avail yourself to the wonderful free meditations that we have at the center. And I have a step-by-step guide to setting up a home practice.
Someone also asked, how do I know if I'm doing it right? Is there a wrong way or a right way?
So I usually say the only wrong way to meditate is to not meditate. So, and meditation sounds, like it's only for gurus. It's really for anyone who has a pulse. Anyone, you just close your eyes and breathe. And slowing down the breath and just guiding the breath with those two words, whatever two words you love, breathe, peace, Baruch Hashem, whatever it is. There's no wrong way to do it. And to stay away from judging the meditations, I find to be so important. Some days we'll have very deep, relaxing meditations, and other days we'll notice that our mind is just jumping all over. We're just learning to be with what is, and that is the practice.
I would like to be as relaxed as you are, Jen. Question for Jerry. What is your opinion about security guards and a police presence at synagogues?
All right, so I know with synagogues, money is always an issue. So taking money out of the scenario, I think that when you can have security, you should. And so my wish list for security, when available, you should always have an actual police officer, whether it be the local law enforcement. With that comes the police car, their radio. If they call for help, their friends are coming to help them. So that would be my number one priority. If you can't afford that, I would have a retired police officer or an off-duty police officer. The next level down, a security guard company that hires armed security. The next level down, I would have a regular security guard, which is your everyday person that is only there to observe and report, which would just be like a normal everyday citizen. So I believe security is important. It would make me feel safer. I think in this day and age, especially for the short time that you're at services, I think that security, number one, it's a deterrent Uh, Statistics prove, and it's happened over the last several years. We've seen videos in South Carolina, in Tennessee. Bad guys just move along to the next location when they see security. So there's a multitude of different things. So I'm all for security, and I think that if you can afford it, that places should really, really, really have security.
Okay. Jen, I have another question for you. When is the best time of day for self-guided imagery, and how long must we do this?
So, you pick the best time that works for you. Some people are morning people. I like to do it in the morning, and I do it in the afternoon around 3 or 4 o'clock when my adrenals start to burn out. We could go for a cup of coffee, or we could just do a little refreshing meditation, or both. So you choose what time is best for you. And, if you're just starting, start with 5 minutes, start with 1 minute. Don't bite off more than you can chew, because when we say, okay, I'm going to meditate for a half hour every day, and then we don't do it, we get discouraged. So do something that's attainable, and you can build up from there. And what I find is that we just naturally want to do more and more and more.
Okay. I think this is directed to you as well, Jen, but it could be a Dr. Scheller question. How does the body hold tension and stress? And that stress, can it be released through breathing?
You want to take that?
Sure. So the body holds stress usually in our muscles. So people tend to hold it in different places. Sometimes their neck, their shoulders, back. We hold a lot in our muscles. Also, it can create headaches. And different people can feel it in different places, can hold stress in their heart. People can start getting what's called premature ventricular contractions, PVCs, or they can have some gastrointestinal disorders, develop diarrhea or constipation, irritable bowel syndrome. And some ways to release that, of course, are the mind-body techniques, the meditations, acupuncture can be helpful, and the massage therapy, yoga, and all of these modalities can hold a benefit. And again, that's the part where when we do consultations is finding what you connect to. So one, finding out maybe where you hold your stress and how you're manifesting it, because it can also turn into disease. And then talk about what are the things that you believe in and what do you want to work on, and finding the right modality for you.
Okay.
I'm just going to jump in and just add to that for 1 second. So the issues are in our tissues. I love that. And I love, rhymes and stuff like that. But another thing you can do, so yoga is something you can do for yourself, but you can also shake, and you can dance, and you can wiggle, and you can shake out the tension. And you can do it for like 5 minutes, if you can do it for 5 minutes, to music, or dance. And you're actually moving the energy, the tension, the stress through your muscles and out. So that's something that I like to do with clients.
Okay, and another question, the last question, which could be answered, I guess, by Dr. Scheller or by Jen. If someone wants to get a consult in integrated medicine, do they need to be referred by a doctor, or can they call the Graf Center? What's the best way to go about doing that?
Sure. Anyone, you can self-refer, and you can call the Graf Center, and we'll be happy to get all your information, have your insurance on, and help you schedule that appointment. Yeah, you do not need a referral.
So with that, I'm also going to say, if anyone had a question that didn't get answered, feel free to either contact us at the Federation or to reach out to the Graf Center, and then your questions will all get answered. I just want to thank Jen, Dr. Scheller, and Jerry. I was personally intrigued by all your thoughtful insights and already feel more relaxed than I did an hour ago. Jen, I almost fell asleep. And it became obvious to me that the best tools we have to keep our minds at ease start with the support we provide for ourselves. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's program as much as I did, and we do hope that you will participate in future Federation events. So keep an eye out for all our emails. Federation's fundraising efforts are ramping up, knowing that every dollar we raise will be addressing the emerging needs in our community. If you haven't made your gift to Federation, maybe today's the day. If you have, we thank you. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.